Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 7th of October. So after the big ticket news events from last week, traders might be expecting a little bit more clarity over sort of direction and sort of world concerns going forward through the remainder of this month. However, over the weekend, there just seems to be a little bit more concern now coming into the sort of condition and the sort of quality of the US and China sort of trade negotiations. There's certainly more concern coming in over the strength of the US economy. And of course, we still have sort of Brexit and the UK politics in the background there. So let's take a look at a few markets here that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room going into the beginning of this week. So if we come and have a look at the Dow Jones first of all, and this is the Dow Jones future, we can see that from the remainder or second half of last week, this market sort of hit a bounce here, hit a low around that sort of 26,000 level, and has then managed to sort of pick up some momentum from there. And if we just take a look at this from the daily time frame, although this chart looks extremely sort of messy, what we can see is that 26,000 zone here, these levels have been sort of very significant in the past. Market sort of found key support around here coming into the remainder of last week. And interestingly, this was on the back of the second set of lower than expectation ISM numbers. So we had the service sector and the manufacturing sector miss expectations. The first one had quite an impact on the US stocks. The second one, not quite so. And we can see that we've had this sort of retracement from off that sort of low here. Now, from a technical perspective, this sort of market still looks sort of rather weak, particularly if the price market stays underneath or can't make a significant break above the 26 sort of 500 level here. And we can see that level has been a significant sort of price point before, and price really needs to sort of get above there before we can sort of get into this sort of trading window up to 26 sort of 800. Failing that, you know, the levels that the market sort of previously tested to the short side look like being retested again. And that sort of sees moves down to 26,000 again, and then down towards that sort of 25,500 level. Now, if we come down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see the sort of structure here a little bit more detail. So at the moment, price action is sitting right underneath sort of 26 sort of 500. Above that, we've got these sort of clear trading windows that we'll be looking at opportunities up to 26,700, 26,800 in extension, and then beyond that, even up to 27,000 if it can get up there. But we've got some very well defined structures here. And I think the main decision point going into the beginning of this week is going to be around this 26 sort of 500 area. Is the market going to be able to get comfortably above there? Or if it can't, then we can start looking for retests of the structure points underneath price. So let's come down to take a look at the commodities now. And one of our sort of favorite commodities this morning is silver. So precious metals are off their highs. We can see that the markets are sort of looking particularly weak this morning. From a technical perspective, silver is starting to look sort of rather interesting to the short side. We can see that the rejections here off the highs on the weekly chart, and the market sort of coming down, putting in sort of low trends here. So we've got lower highs, lower lows formed here on silver on the daily time frame. And at the moment, price is just sitting on top of the 1750 level. So below 1750, we've got another sort of window down here to retest 1700. Below that level, we're really sort of looking down to the next sort of structure points down here towards that sort of 16300 around here. So looking at the direction of the trend, if the trend continues, we'll be looking for opportunities underneath 1750 and looking for opportunities down towards that sort of $17 level in the sort of early part of this week. You can see the price action in a little bit more detail here on the 4-hour time frame. We can see that sort of rolling over sort of action that we have. But more interestingly, you can see that price has tried many times to sort of break higher, but continuously failed. And the sort of technical rejections that we've had here indicate that there doesn't seem to be an awful lot of appetite for silver pushing any higher than 1780 in the sort of near term. So break below the 1750 again just sort of looks nice and technical for us to start to look for opportunities down towards that sort of $17 level in the early part of this week. Now, if we come and take a look at currency markets, one of our favorite currencies this morning happens to be the Singapore dollar against the yen. And the reason being is that we've got a sort of fairly sort of decent trend structure and confirmation of trends across multiple timeframes here, which is not something that we have across many currency markets at the moment. But we can see on the weekly time frame that the trend structure here clearly to the short side, nice clear set of lower highs, lower lows. Price has just sort of rejected off this sort of 79 level and breaking down again. And if this trend continues, well, we could be looking for, again, sort of new opportunity or continued opportunities down towards the lows here, and that's sort of down towards the sort of 75, sort of 50 area at least. So there's plenty of distance there to the short side if this trend continues. So coming across the time frames and sort of taking a look at the 4 hour in a bit more detail, we can see we've got good trend here, good sort of lower highs, lower lows. Generally, we've got good sort of structure, but we also have quite a level through here around 77,300, where the market sort of found good support a number of times. So a break below 77,300, then just sort of sets this up for a bit of a move to the short side, and that's where we're starting to look for opportunities. So we're waiting for this confirmation for the market underneath this area, and then we're starting to look for short opportunities on Singapore yen to coincide with the higher time frame trends, which are to the short side at the moment. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on for opportunities at the beginning of this week. I certainly hope it helps. Look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.